Okay, I have the last question on this important issue. Many people, we struggle, in the end we succeed to get the income, we get money, whatever. But sometimes we lose that money. So there is this terminology frequently used. I want to protect my income protection. How do you protect it? Do you put a grill? How do you protect your income when you have it? You put it under the pillow. Where do you protect that money? Wherever you have your income, all these kind of things. Or you put your money, investment or retirement, whatever. How do you protect the money?
Wow. Thank you so much, Ernest. That's a very good question. So income protection is actually one of the very, very important phases when it comes to money. I always say, people make money, grow money, protect, distribute, and transfer their money. But oftentimes we forget to do the last three. We just do the first two. So with income protection, you want to protect your income from so many things. Okay, like serious emergencies. Most people, when they think of emergency, they just think of a flat tire. But emergency is more than just having a flat tire.
Yeah.
Serious emergency is the one that is going to make a life impact. So why is income protection important? Because the truth is, life is not going to move if you don't have cash flow. You need money.
Yeah.
So whether you're an employee or self-employed, protecting your income is very important. So I'm going to give you maybe a little story for you to understand where we come from, right? So I have a dear friend of mine, this guy that we worked with, a medical doctor, okay, when we were in Missouri, originally from Nigeria. He used to live in Maryland, okay? So the guy actually went to residency, he finished residency, became, a surgeon, and then relocated to Maryland with the family. So I don't know, are you familiar with cardiologists?
Yeah.
So he was making a lot of money, like a little over $500,000 a year. So when he moved there, guess what? He got a nice house, like $1 million house. I remember he told me he put a down payment of like 10%, of like $100K cash. His wife was driving like a nice BMW at the time. He had a nice good life, okay? Yeah. All kids private school. And as you know, most people don't know, oftentimes, when some of these doctors are in residency school, they have like advisors come there and they tell them, hey, this is what you should do, this is what you should do. Or when they finish residency, then they'll get maybe a realtor or somebody to guide them through. So they were living a good life. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But also, with good life, just like we talked earlier, employment is still employment. Even if you are a medical doctor, if you are employed, you're still living paycheck to paycheck. So guess what? He had a schedule where he was going to work all the time, but on some of his days off, he was still on call. So it was just one day when he was on call, he had a procedure to do. I think somebody was having a heart attack. So when he was leaving the hospital that morning at 2 a.m., he got into a very bad accident. Oh. So I guess somebody was coming from a club drunk or something like that, and then got into a very bad accident with this particular person. The doctor was injured. Okay, he was paralyzed, Ernest, waist down. So he was admitted to the hospital. He was there, for like quite some time, for a few months. And I recall the very first month when he was there, the wife was just so stressed because she was a stay-home mom. They have 3 kids. Yes, they were doing well, but, at that particular instance, she was very stressing because they have a mortgage, everything else to take care of.
Yes.
So long story short, she went and acquired some cash flow, filed disability, okay? So they were able to get some money. I think they got paid up to like 60% of the income, and that's about it.
Yeah.
They were able to use that money to, sorry. So she was able to use that money to pretty much supplement the income at that time, take care of the necessary things, in the household. All right, fast forward, second month, the guy was still at the hospital, still in ICU. So the wife had to go claim some money again. Third month, the same thing. The fourth month, guess what? She was called at the guy's job, and they told her, they're so sorry because, for everything that's happening. And with this medical doctor being very always present at the hospital and helping out and stuff like that, but he hasn't been at work for some time. And the hospital is having a lot of cases, or was having a lot of cases at that time for surgeries, so they were forced to hire somebody else. So they told the lady, for now they're gonna have to let the husband go, but on an event he gets better, he of course gonna have his job back. So what does that mean?
That is forever. If you are paralyzed, how are you going to get better and come back?
Well, so while he was at the hospital, next thing she gets a call. It's like, hey, based on your husband's status, your husband is stable. We're gonna have to discharge him from the hospital and move him into a skilled nursing facility. The lady was like, but my husband is not better. They're like, yes, but he's stable. Meaning doesn't mean much changes. So here she goes very confused because the moment the husband left the job, guess what? Do you think disability continues?
No.
No. So she had to assume a CNA job to be able to supplement the income. But still that was not enough. She wanted the husband to stay at home and at least get home health or something, or skilled home health. But she couldn't afford it. So that was the time when she decided, I remember that time she's like, Veronica, I don't even know what to do, But the guy was not like brain dead or anything. He just could not work. He was just sick.
Oh, okay.
So he had to go to the nurse. Finally, he was able to go to the nursing home, but they couldn't keep the house. They had to let the house go. They had to let the car go.
Kids not from private school.
Exactly. So she moved to an apartment with the kids. The husband was staying in the nursing home. Yes, she was trying to visit him as much as she could, but she was working 16 hours a day. At the same time, she has 3 kids. So she came here. So what happened was the guy was here before, married and brought her here. So that's why she was staying home, taking care of the kids, whatever. So yeah. So this thing was just happening too fast for them. So long story short, I didn't know. I was not in financial service at that time, so I didn't know what was happening. All I thought was that was not fair. I was like, why would they have to give up everything? And part of me was like, maybe it was too expensive for her. Because CNA job versus cardiologist job, two different income. Yes. Yeah. But there was more to it. Okay, so before of course, the guy was sitting in that nursing home. He started developing depression. You know how life is sometimes. Yeah, and then I don't know if it was medication or what was going on, but before his kidneys started failing. It was like within 2-3 years, this guy went like literally, like super, like just down like that.
Plus stress.
So
like, from cardiology to not doing anything
to nothing. Yeah, and it's not as if like you cannot see your children or like your kids. They're alive. Just so you cannot provide. Yeah. So long story short, the guy's no longer here. He passed away. But during that time itself, it was very extremely stressful. Okay, I was always thinking like, oh, that is the reason why I need to be independent and have my own job and not just depend on somebody else. But also I was coming from a point of ignorance. Okay, it's not always that because you have a job and stuff like that. The question that we need to ask ourselves, Ernest, number 1 is, let's say today is your last day to work. For whatever reason.
Yeah.
You can no longer work. How long can you survive in America without working?
Majority of people, you cannot go even 3 months. Some even in 1 month is just tough.
Right.
Yeah.
But then also, when you think deeper, okay, based on what I just told you, getting sick, is it a matter of if or when?
I mean,
it's when.
It's when, it's not if, because you get older, those things happen, but even if you're not older, there are external factors you cannot control, like drunk driver, you cannot control. Or someone is shooting somewhere and then the bullet comes to your leg, you cannot control.
Yeah. So, when the uncertainty occurs, the question is, are you prepared? Because not everything is about death, but it's about serious emergencies.
Sometimes
we do everything, but we forget to what? Getting income protection. So that's why in finances, we don't only talk about making money and keeping it, but we also talk about protecting the source of that money. On an event, you cannot take care of yourself. On an event, you cannot run that business. On an event, you cannot assume that job. Do you have an account that can replace your income for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years, for the next 20 years? We only think that everything's going to be okay, right? Until when there's uncertainty occurs. So income protection, that is what it means. You want to make sure you're protecting your income so that you become financially stable. Because with financial stability, what it means is worst case scenario and best case scenario. You cannot call yourself that you're financially stable and you're only stable when everything is like roses. No, when boo boo go down, when things don't act right, and you are still financially being able to take care of your children and everything else, then you're financially stable. So income protection, unfortunately, is not a topic that is very common when it comes to regular finances, because people just think of one thing or two things, like making money and growing it, but they forget to protect from things like that. But also, it's not only when it comes to illness, protection of money in general. Now, income, of course, the big thing I would say is illness, because on an event you need, let's say, government assistance. The government does not just give you money, because if you have a lot of money, it's just mainly for poor people. So that is how sometimes people end up filing bankruptcy and become poor, or become homeless, because there is a perfect system where you need to understand that if you don't protect your income and you're depending just on the government, then you'll have to assume a different lifestyle compared to what you have. So these are things that people don't talk about. But also, as I was going to say, when it comes to money in general, you want to protect your money from so many different sources. How it grows. We talked about taxes earlier. We talked about when a person dies. What about lawsuits? People don't think about things like that. And bankruptcy. So how have you structured your portfolios or your business to make sure that you are financially stable? So that's why income protection is very important as well.
It's very, very important.
Yeah. How long can you survive in America without working? You cannot survive past 3 months, 5 years, you definitely need to protect your income.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the special, already, like, you grew up in Africa. You ate food, different type of food. How many hours you slept is different. You come here, you have 2 jobs. You are getting older. You are eating junk food which is not natural, fruits, wherever you come from,
Sure.
whatever. Obviously, you are putting yourself into risk at any time. Anything can happen.
That's true. When you think of America, when you go to the store, the tomato is this big. Already, that's GMO.
Yeah.
You see? The meat is not even the same. There's a lot of processed things. So that, or by default, you're already exposed to certain things like illnesses. It's just a matter of when. So that's why I say some things that we call emergencies are not really true emergencies. We're just ignorant. And we entertain the ignorance. That's all.
So that's the meaning of the income protection.
Yes. You want to make sure you're protecting your income on an event that certainly occurs. Income protection is not only about death.
Sometimes it's better death than certain situation.
I know, death you're out of it, yeah.
So better I'm gone, like,
I
there are certain situations, like,
Right.
it's worse. Like, yeah. Oh, man.
Yep.
I'm not protected up to this moment.
So you need income protection.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
So there is so much, and we said we're gonna like talk more, but I feel like there is so much that needs to be shared out there, and people just need to create time. You can't be too busy cultivating ignorance. You need to create time so that we can collectively be able to empower one another and make a difference. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to share the link if you want this kind of type of protection, saving, retirement plans, all type of things. ebmscholars.com/free financial education, and the link will be on the description. You'll be able to fill that form. In order to fill the form, you must be in the United States or in Canada, regardless of the immigration status. You are allowed to fill, and then you can get in touch with Dr. Veronica, Dr. V, for more professional advice.
Thank you.